Hello and welcome to Emergency Cooking. My name's Katie.
I'm Georgie.
And you might recognise this one.
I'm the dolphin penguin orca comic. Well, if you don't know what that is, then you're a bit lost right now. Google it.
You should Google it.
I'm a comedian and a nurse.
The stages of nursing.
The three stages.
Three stages of nursing.
You won't find it on YouTube. It's a Facebook thing, but yes.
I'm pretty sure we can put the Facebook link.
I'm a real nurse as well. I'm a nurse over
Are you?
I'm still registered. They might not want to audit. They might not want to audit me.
Have you done your CPD for the year?
Oh, let's say I have.
Okay. Yeah. What did you do?
I just did the module on inhalers from the
Okay.
union over and over again.
On repeat.
just kept doing that one. Yeah. On different unions.
Yeah.
So yeah. Enough hours, but I only know about inhalers.
Now, I don't want to draw attention to it, but you should have done a module on burns by the look of you at the moment.
It's her fault. So I'm not built for the sun, and we're in Queen.
At all.
We're in the Sunshine Coast. No, the
Gold
Coast.
Coast.
And we went surfing. I did have zinc on.
I
burnt through zinc.
You defied the odds of nature, and you burnt through zinc.
I'm so injured. She's meant to help people. Look at the bruising.
Do you want to tell them how many times you stood up?
Oh, that would be on. 3.
Yeah.
On the sand.
And did I set you up for success prior to us going surfing?
She gave me a teacher.
I gave you a teacher, a coffee.
The teacher was lovely. She was relieved when I got out.
She
was relieved. I spent 3 days looking forward to surfing, and then half an hour looking forward to not surfing anymore.
It actually got better when you realised that you didn't actually have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I started to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So but thank you.
I'll just go and have a rest. That's it. All right. So we're gonna just have a chat today. Usually we do a very educational video, but today we're going to educate.
It's on inhalers.
And we're just going to repeat it. One CPD point for every view.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about something that is a bit near and dear to us, and that is the emergency tea room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the tea room on your ward or wherever you work. You were in ICU.
ICU, yeah.
And then you've recently gone...
Well, I was more in the district then, so I eat in other people's kitchens rather than get a little biscuit off a nonna.
Did you ever want to go in and just cook in their kitchen because they had a fabulous kitchen?
Sometimes wanted to clean.
Okay, yeah.
But not cook.
Yeah.
I can't get over how big crystal art is. There's a lot of crystal art out there, more than you'd know.
So, so you create crystal art?
I try not to, but people in their houses, everyone's mad for it. I don't know.
Right. Is that when they put the little
crystals and
dots.
make a picture of Elvis?
Right.
Or a tiger.
Did you have many Elvis fans in your...
Yes! And how good is this? One lady loved Elvis, like Elvis rug, Elvis pictures. She has a mannequin dressed as Elvis in her house. But she can't play Elvis because she also has a cockatiel who hates Elvis. So she couldn't play any of his
I could
films.
look at him, but I'm not allowed
to hear him.
Oh,
so that's pretty classic. That's life coming together for you.
I tell you. So have you ever been in a situation where you're really tired? Like you've got kids, you've probably been through this. I do not have children, but I've kind of been tired before. And somebody has put up a post or sent you a message and said, hey, we're all going to bring something that we bake tonight on night duty. Or...
Yeah, it's usually a baker that says that, isn't it? Like it's so easy to just...
Yeah, that's it.
Like we've all got store covered.
Yes. Like we're all packing for the famine and we have a war chest that has just so much flour and biscuits and things in it.
Yeah.
So today we're doing things a little bit differently today. We're actually going to make it, it's that easy that we're actually going to make it
and talk at
while
the
we
same
have
time.
a chat. The old two things at once situation.
Get your head around that, emergency nurses. You can only ever do one thing at once.
So spoken like a true ICU nurse.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, who spends
It
4
freaks
hours
me out when
tidying the cords.
Freaked me out when I first came here. We don't have cob loaf in England.
Oh, it's big here.
Yeah, it just seems such a weird thing to have share food in a place riddled with disease. You know, like that.
Oh, yeah.
I get a plate, I get a
Yeah,
platter,
yeah.
but just the idea of ripping off a bit of bread and then dipping it in and then
Yeah,
double
and then
dipping
going and seeing your C. diff patient.
Yeah, that's what I struggled with. I got into it and I've now got a good constitution.
Yeah, the cob loaf is hard to know. We're not making cob loaf, by the way. We'll do that another time. But the cob loaf is a hard dish to nail. Like,
it doesn't look like it.
no, one of my friends
It is what I
makes
imagine goes in.
It's like 5 ingredients.
It's like a tin of chicken soup,
French onion.
a powdered French onion dip.
Yeah, yeah.
It shouldn't taste good, but it does.
Sour cream, cream cheese,
Mm.
and frozen spinach. That is a cob loaf recipe.
All right, I wouldn't take it on MasterChef.
Okay, all right. So, but today we're gonna make ginger balls.
I feel like you profiled me.
Unintentionally.
Unintentionally. We're making ginger balls.
Ginger balls with Georgie.
Yeah.
Ta-da! Alrighty, so for this recipe, all you need is a packet of milk arrowroot biscuits, a packet of ginger snap biscuits, some cinnamon, some ginger, and the old faithful tin of condensed milk.
So I feel you're still relying a little bit on, one, people having a store cupboard with things in it. And
Did
two,
we go to Coles this morning?
Yeah, and two, people having biscuits and not having ate them.
Oh, you are correct.
It's a big ask. If you had ginger biscuits and you're keeping them for a special baking day, surely you know in your job that life's short, just eat the biscuits.
Just eat the biscuits.
Just eat the biscuits. So
right, so you want a big bowl. You're going to pour the biscuits in. Very complex.
yeah.
And then you're going to pour, that's a tablespoon of ginger. Yeah. Oh, that smells good. And then a teaspoon of cinnamon.
Which looks the same size as a tablespoon.
Yeah,
if
but
you
it's
know.
not. All right. And then we're going to, oh yeah. Yeah, give it a stir first. Oh, look at you. Well, that's beautiful stirring.
Yeah.
Now, how was the last year for you? It's been an interesting year, hasn't it?
Yeah, so I nursing since 2000, then I gave up in 2018, I reckon, to be a comedian. I was already a comedian. And I was
very good
working
comedian.
Well, thank you. And I was working both at once, and then couldn't quite give up the nursing.
Tin of condensed milk.
But wasn't very good at it anymore.
At the nursing.
There's only so many inhalers. Do you know what I mean?
Well, there's only so many modules. One.
Well, no, because each union is in different states. So if you do it on each state one, it's 6 hours on each one. But it's 6 different qualifications you've got. So yeah, just join all the unions.
The fact
and
is
just
that I know that you did it. It's not even a skit. It's the fact I know you would have sat there and gone,
oh, I could just
I'm
do
on
the
the
same
something,
module and a different board. So I probably wasn't at the cutting edge of modern medicine. So I decided it was probably better to tap out and just do comedy, which was amazing.
How did it start though, the comedy situation?
I didn't know it was an art form. I thought it was just like karaoke where you just give it a crack. So, and then it just got better from there.
Karaoke for talkers.
Yeah, and then, so I'd given up nursing, but then of course lockdown happened and I couldn't sell tickets to live events, which is kind of how you make money as a comic.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, but there is money in it, you know, like nurses are my little... Me heifers, do you know what I mean? They're my people that come. Greatest audience ever. You've got money. You turn up in groups. You laugh at everything.
Well, at the
and you'll come out on a Tuesday. You don't even know what day it is.
Yeah,
like,
so
I can just...
was it Monday night?
No.
The other night, Monday. It was one night, Sunday night, and I went to your show.
Yes.
And the infectious disease ward was there.
Yeah. Yeah, they just come out en masse, and so I couldn't sell tickets to live events anymore. So I very quickly. Well, the first thing I wanted to do because I had to go back to a job, but I thought I didn't want to go back to the hospital I worked at, so I applied for roles helping adults with learning difficulties doing daily things.
I'm just going to glove up while you're
But
talking.
and I was more than happy to do that, but then the woman that interviewed me was a nugget. She didn't look at me the whole interview.
A nugget.
So you'll be working with vulnerable people. Do not introduce them to narcotics or firearms.
And you're like,
I thought I can't. I need to go back to the hospital.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went back into Millwall. So I've been back on hospital at home for the last year.
What again?
And then I handed in my notice.
No night duties.
No, I handed in my notice perhaps a month or so ago.
So you've quit again?
Yeah, because they can sell tickets again.
I'm just going to give this a hand, mate.
I'm such a, So, I handed my notice in about a month ago. I didn't know it was a 4 week notice. I thought it was a 2 week notice. Then said something on telly about me dreaming about torching the hospital, and then still had to go in.
You had to rock up for work?
Yeah, so I did. So I thought I'd finished, and I genuinely didn't. It wasn't something I designed to say. It was on the project, and they said, "Are you ready to get back on stage?" And I was like, "Oh God, I'm born for it. I'm primed. I'm ready." Oh, honest to God, I'm dreaming about torching the hospital some days. So it's even though I love a lot of the things about nursing, there is also the hard bit that makes you eat lots of things in the staff room. We're just making one big ginger ball.
That's it, we're done.
One big ginger ball.
So that's what you want it to look like. Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt. That's what you want it to look like. And then stay.
Oh, she poured some condensed milk
Stay.
in that I don't
Get
think we
away.
knew.
The dog's here as well, helping us out. He's come because he can feel the food. And then I'm going to roll. You can feel free to glove up.
Would you like any flaky skin in it as well?
I mean,
I've got lots.
just make sure a bit of your forehead doesn't drop
Yeah.
in.
I feel like it's, like how people donate their hair to different
You're gonna-
causes. I could
you're gonna
donate
do
skin
skin.
to people that need grafts.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
And then, so, where did you first start nursing?
In the UK. And it was something called Project 2000 Nurses. Lots of nurses had been on strike at the end of the 90s.
Oh, back in the day when you could strike.
Yeah, and it was a full-on kind of strike. And
What were they striking over?
Oh, just nursing was too good. They were like, please make the shifts
Longer. And
Could you pay us
and
less?
a quicker turnaround.
Could you give us less staff, please?
Yeah.
I think it was something like that they were doing.
Okay.
It was just too good. And so, by the time I trained, they just wanted very compliant nurses. So they dropped the requirements for getting in, and most of your training was about trade unions. The amount of essays I wrote about how not to strike.
Really?
Yeah. So by the time I was trained, I probably wasn't very good. I'd never, for instance, used a PCA or signed out a controlled drug, and one of our placements was in a primary school because they wanted us to see what well children look like. It was a really odd training.
So you could see a sick child and pick them
because we know what a well one
child looks like.
Yeah.
So
Because they were trying to get so many nurses through that they didn't have enough placements for them. So yeah, by the time I qualified, I probably wasn't very good.
I feel like you've rolled a ball before.
Probably more than yourself.
Well played.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been stereotyped. It's payback for the ginger balls.
Yeah. So I got good quick at the...
What was the first ward you worked on?
This is a weird pairing of technicalities. Urology and vascular. That was that word.
Rolling balls.
So amputations and catheters. So yeah, it's such a weird pairing of skills, that isn't it? So I did on there. I learnt a lot. I would say, regretfully, I think people didn't get the nurses they deserved at that point, and so I had to learn very, very quickly. And then intensive care was probably where I became a nurse.
How'd you get into ICU from there?
Well, it's a strange one because I'm probably more at heart an ED nurse than an ICU nurse.
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm not a details. Well, you have to be details 3D as well. But if you've worked both, you'll know what I'm saying. ED nurses and intensive care nurses are both nurses in the same way that Chihuahuas and Dobermans are both dogs.
Dogs, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just very different
Yeah.
people. So, why did it... I suppose it made me learn about each of the organs very individually.
Oh, yep.
Whereas I hadn't really been given that at uni.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it made
Too
me...
busy writing about trade unions.
Right, yeah, learning
Yeah.
how to not be a striker.
Mm.
So, yes.
Did you ever go on strike?
No.
Oh, well, it paid off then, didn't it?
I went to meetings for a bit. I became quite political for a while.
Really?
Because they were shutting down... You know how they do? They shut down...
Shut down a
smaller
ward, yeah.
hospitals,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they
Increase
build
the
one
load,
big centre
yeah.
of excellence somewhere and stick a Nando's in it and
Yeah.
tell everyone that it's doing better.
And a sombreros.
Yeah, sombreros in it.
You
So,
know you've made it when you've got a sombreros.
Yeah. So they were shutting down my local hospital, which serviced over 1 million people. It serviced over 1 million people.
Over 1 million!
And so the services that they chose to get rid of were emergency. It did.
Come on.
It went to an urgent care centre, which is your walking wounded, right? So they got rid of labour, women, giving birth. It was just So
no emergencies.
no
birth.
no maternity, and no children's ward.
Right.
And intensive care went, of course.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there's no need to.
Yeah.
So that's what they did.
Well, your degloving technique's good.
Yeah, do you like
That was
it?
COVID safe.
Yeah. Are you one of those that puts 2 pairs of gloves on so you can do your dirty jobs and then rip them off and do your clean jobs?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
No.
I feel like it's a little life hack that you've
Yeah,
missed out on.
look, I find that I sweat. I sweat too much. I'm the kind of person that puts on the smaller size gloves so you'll do the job quicker. Because or else you lose the feeling in the fingers.
Yeah, that's
It's like it's an incentive.
yeah.
Yeah. So if I'm
That's-
doing something, I'll go a size smaller.
I'm more just grab whatever gloves are around.
Oh yeah, so you'll put an 11 on.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. I don't think there needs to be halves in gloves.
Oh, okay.
A
So-
6, a 7, or an 8. It doesn't need to be 6.5, 7, 7 and a half.
Mm.
Like the halves is somebody getting a bit too particular.
Well, it's people cashing in, isn't it?
Yeah.
People cashing in.
Big farmer.
Big pharma cashing in. Stores and supplies cashing in.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
Look at me balls.
Alright, so we've done some balls. We've rolled them out. It should make about 30. We probably went a bit big. I don't know how many's there. So what you do now is pop them in the fridge and let them set a little bit for about an hour. So we'll pretend an hour's passed.
So the scenario that we're in is
Yeah.
night shift. People have said we're all bringing baked goods
That's
tomorrow
it.
night. You've come home.
And you've stacked your shifts.
You've been in
as
Coles.
well. You've gone to Coles because you had time, but you've stacked your shifts because you want more days off.
Yeah.
So you've literally just come off a set of 4 shifts and
Mhm.
you're going into 3 nights, so
Okay.
that you can have a week off after it.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And
Grads, it's a special trick.
Yeah.
And so someone has messaged on the Facebook site, your social group, and said, "We're baking tonight," and
Yeah.
you are so exhausted that you are actually going to sleep for about 10 hours before your shift. But now you've gone to Coles, you've got 4 or 5 ingredients, and then you've done your balls, and then you pop them in the fridge.
Yeah, and they're almost good for you.
Almost. Well, yes, they are. They're very good.
They're ball shaped, so you could pretend
they're
they
portion control.
are. Portion control.
Portion
If you
control.
have less of them.
Yeah, just have 1 or 2. So what is your number one advice if you could go back to when you first started nursing,
Yeah.
right? And have a chat with yourself
Mm-hmm.
and give yourself a piece of advice for your career that was coming, what would your advice be? I've put you on the spot there.
So long as you're learning, you're good enough.
Ooh, okay. Alright.
I was very intimidated. Because if you imagine that a new load of nurses came through now and they hadn't had the training they needed,
Yeah.
you're like, they're all rubbish. This isn't,
Yeah.
you know, like, and
Yeah.
so there was very much that vibe to it. No one really liked our glut of nurses, but it wasn't our fault. We still wanted to be nurses.
That's very true.
And so I spent a lot of time just having to do reflections on things I'd done wrong.
Yep.
Because I'm not, and I didn't want to do it wrong. I just literally didn't know you needed 2 people at the PCA. It was like level of ineptness.
Yeah.
So there was it was like a real learning curve.
Yeah.
Proper. I would say 2 years of probably going home most days, not thinking I was any good at it.
I think that everyone goes through that though with nursing as well, because it's one of those jobs where you never stop learning. Like you would think by doing 6 courses on asthma and inhalers that you would know everything about it. But I bet with each one of those courses you picked up something tiny from each one.
Possibly.
You're always learning. There's always a situation where I go to work and I'm like, I don't know the answer to this. I'll go and find it. Or when the grads come or the students.
Yeah, so it's that knowing that that's good enough to want to learn.
Yes.
And to know to ask, because it did get at points where I didn't want to ask people because there was so much negativity towards our intake.
Yeah.
That it was just like, overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so just know you're doing enough. Really.
Yeah.
Cut yourself some slack.
Yeah, I feel.
Have you heard the Dunning-Kruger effect?
No.
So I'm going to draw a graph, but I don't really know what the graph looks like. So if you are sciencey, just pretend. Let's do it with doctors. Let's do it with doctors because that's a really obvious one. They come in and quite often at the very beginning, they think they're better than they are, and it's kind of a necessary skill to front it and
intern week.
So your self-belief way far outweighs your skill set.
Yeah, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. And then there's a whole bit in the middle where, so they get to like an RMO sort of registrar-y kind of level, and there's this bit where they actually think they're not good enough, but they're way better than they were at the beginning. And then there's a bit at the end, which does happen. I wouldn't say it's right before retirement for doctors and nurses. It's right before retirement, they've got a swagger where they're just like happy.
I've seen it.
You know, like, but there's a good 10 years before that where they forget how hard it was to get there. Yeah. And it's like every time someone forgets to bring something for us, because a drug hasn't been given exactly at the right time. Yeah. You know, it's that kind of.
So
that's the Dunning-Kruger effect. So at the end, their self-belief is matching their skill set, but they forgot how hard it was.
How hard it was to actually get on that. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Would you ever go back to ICU nursing?
No. So even when I went back this time, I'm ICU accredited.
Yep. And
it was a buyer's market, to be honest, with COVID potentially coming. And I was like, I know it's not a type of nursing I enjoy.
Okay.
And
see, as an emergency nurse, like I've never worked in ICU, right? But I see it. I'm so scared to hand over to ICU nurses.
Like, we're snipers.
So particular. And like I rock up with a patient that's just got stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's stuff everywhere. And it's not the best way, but it is the way that we have to deal with an emergency, right? Yes. But I imagine ICU is a very controlled environment where half the time your patients are asleep.
Yeah, it's like I've worked both.
Yeah.
And the pace of both is insane. It's like you can't imagine how you'd be busy with one.
Yeah.
But
I struggle. Like because as an ED nurse, I completely struggle with that.
I suppose it's like on such a micro level because whatever you do in resus, we are resussing them for 24 hours a day. There's
never thought of it like that.
There's inotropes. There's the breathing machine. There's having to wake them up so they do a little bit independently, and then dealing with. Yeah, it's insane how much there is to do. But no, I just felt like it felt a lot of the time like we're doing stuff because we can, not because we should.
Ooh.
And and there's the odd miracle up there.
Few and far between.
Like a Guy and Barry's. I've often questioned myself, would I do a year on event?
Yeah.
I would. I'd do a year on event at my age.
Yeah,
in order to get it back and to...
Georgie loves to come up with, we've been driving along for the last couple of days, she loves to come up with questions of, what would you do if...
What was this morning's? If you had to lie on your belly for 2 years...
If you had a detached retina...
Yeah.
and you had to lie on your belly for 2 years.
Yeah, for most of the day.
To save sight in one eye.
One eye. Or just get up and walk around, lose the sight in that eye.
And get on with life.
Have the 2 years.
Yeah, and have your full vision for the rest of your life. What would you do? This is what happens in the car conversation.
She's keeping her sight. I'm giving up. I'm just keeping the one eye. See, the conversations for night shift.
That's it. All right, so now the balls theoretically have been in the fridge. So what we're going to do is actually roll them in some ginger. Can you pass that bowl there? I'm just making you move. Sorry. Like that. No, Oscar.
Is that's ginger biscuit?
Yeah, ginger biscuit smashed
ginger
up.
nuts. Balls in nuts.
Bowl of nuts. No, ginger nut snap biscuits in the thing.
The balls in the
yeah. And so I'm lucky. I've got a Thermomix.
She has 2. She has 2 people and a dog, and she has 2 Thermomix eyes.
Best thing I've ever done.
What's collective noun for them?
One's Hermes.
A swagger of.
And one's named after one of my best friends, Alison. So one's Alison and one's Hermie.
Nice.
So what we do now is we grab a ball, and usually they'd be a little bit cold. I know we don't know.
Because there's no cracks in the balls, you don't need gloves anymore.
No, that's right. And then you just pop it in.
I feel like this needs to be up a bit.
Okay. You've done this before. You've been on television more than I have.
Yeah.
How is that? Do you enjoy it?
I prefer live comedy.
Okay.
I love making people laugh in front of me, but there's something nice.
Yeah.
About just getting your makeup done and your Yeah, there's something nice about that as well.
And so that's what your ball looks like with your ginger stuff on it. You literally just roll them in there. And your workmates are going to think that you are the bee's knees because
it's not goblo.
It's not goblo. That's
right.
Why
they're going to think
and
it's amazing.
Not the cheese pull aparts. They're famous.
How long can you have food on a staff room table?
So
I would say a full 24 hours.
So there's a gentleman that I work with at a certain hospital, Mr. Carson, who the other day there was a photo on social media of him with a packet of chips on a late shift near the end of his shift that were from the night duty prior that he'd found.
I think that's fair game.
He's like the ibis of the emergency department. Like, you know how there's certain people that if you crack a packet of chips in short stay over the other side of the ward and they're at triage, they'll hear it. It could be 7 doors between you and this person, and then all of a sudden they'll have a reason to come over to short stay from triage. Which are two places that probably shouldn't meet on a shift, right? Yeah. Because there's no way you're going from the front door straight to short stay.
Yeah, there's never good food on short stay.
But this guy will have a reason to come to short stay. Yeah. Because he knows that there's food there. Or he does
we had a doctor at our hospital who would do anything for a cherry ripe.
Oh.
So you've got like a jar of cherry ripe.
Yeah.
And he's a consultant. And if he comes past and you go, would you mind just writing this script for me, and just give him a cherry ripe, and he'll just do it.
Like the fish, like the light with the fish. You just
If there's a cake on the staff room table, it's Wednesday morning. You've rocked up for a Wednesday morning. You ask, when did this come out?
There's no cream in it.
There's no cream in it, so it's a cake.
It's gonna be eggs in it though.
It's got one of them closhes on it, so it's it's just on the table.
Cloche.
Yeah, cloche.
So fancy.
And they say, oh, I saw it on Saturday, so it's now Wednesday.
Do you go in?
Yeah.
I feel like personally I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit. It's a bit too far between for a cake that I know is going to have egg in it.
I think. See, I'm not sure about.
Go for it.
Don't follow me medical reasoning on this, but I think once an egg's cooked, it can't kill you. Obviously, I'm not done that module on the Union website.
No. Egg cooking.
Yeah, once it's cooked. What's it gonna do?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Alright.
You'd have a bite. Would you have a whole piece or would you just have a taste?
I'd probably get a colleague I didn't like and feed it to them first and see what happened.
Alright.
And then by morning break, if it's doing alright, I would have a piece.
Yeah, you got a 6-hour window.
I'd have my little cake tester. Like a royal.
Because you're that person now. I just need someone to test my cake for me.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to watch.
No, I wouldn't tell them why. I'd be like, they'd say, how long's that been there? I just bought this in today. I'd say.
If they hadn't seen it,
yeah,
would you say, oh, I got you a piece of cake? If you knew it was one of those people that was like the ibis of the department,
yeah,
would you go, oh, I've got you a piece of cake?
Yes.
And not
tell them.
And then keep a close eye on them.
Yeah.
And have some on the ends of John and
I feel that there's maybe not been studies done on like how long you can eat a cake for, and perhaps we get funding for this as a research thing.
I feel like COVID ruined a lot of things last year.
Oh, like people's lives. Yeah. That.
But especially it ruined shared food in health facilities. Because
lest we forget.
So you'd walk in and people from emergency will know this. I don't know if you do this in ICU, but you would have a spread. So we would have
very
recess.
Much so we have.
And then in the middle of recess there would be a spread, right?
Oh yeah, I don't think we've ever had them in recess.
Like our recess was huge.
Yeah.
And then there's this table in the middle, so you'd have some.
Oh, my hospital just had 2 rooms, 2 recess rooms.
Oh. Oh yeah, no.
Like what? 2 beds?
No, we had like 14.
Oh.
Yeah, it's big.
How clumsy are people around here?
Yeah. so you've got a big table in the middle and you have shared food, and then you'd know that management comes in at 6:45, right, to make handover. So you need to have that cleared by 6:30.
Oh, because you're not meant to have it there.
No, at all. Because it doesn't look good.
They went through a phase at ours. A manager got code blacked.
What?
A manager got code blacked.
Did they get Tearoom?
I think it's a hard job being a manager, don't get me wrong. So it was like, I think they'd just been too stressed for too long.
Yeah.
And it was to do with not having water bottles out, which none of the staff would ascribe to, because they were just like, we've got a drink. Like,
are you a small water bottle person, or are you?
I'm a cup. Why does it? We've got cups and we've got taps at the hospital. Why do we need a water bottle? But like they just didn't want any drinks at the station. And he
for infection control.
He went bunter.
Bunter.
Oh, bunter. He went
mad.
I wasn't there, but hospial gossip built it up a lot. Oh, yeah. But he did get code blacked, and the nurse who he was shouting at.
Geperidol blow dart sort of thing.
No, he didn't get any drugs. Just the kind of calm down.
Yeah.
One of them.
That's the best thing to tell somebody that's really angry.
Yeah. Why are you getting stressed? That's how you handle aggression.
Yeah.
What are you even bothered for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I got a book coming out very soon.
Yes.
I wrote a book. I don't think.
How was it?
Writing a book?
Yeah.
I thought it was easy.
I feel like there's someone that you all know that gets a spot in the book.
She does. She gets named. She gets named, and this is verbal consent that she's been named for some of her heroic tasks.
I don't know about heroic.
It was pretty. Well, you'll have to read it. She gets a paragraph.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a sentence.
No, well, your name's only in the paragraph once. Otherwise, that's bad writing.
Oh, okay.
I got better at writing. At the beginning, I can't.
Did you just sit down at the start and be like, what do I do?
No, I think if any of you sat down and didn't consider confidentiality. Oh. Not that I've broken confidentiality.
The books we could write.
I've been very, very careful, and generally I rag on nurses more than patients because we're weirder. But so if you sat down and it's the stuff you tell your friends at parties, it's the stuff you talk about on night shift, it is the...
Over dinner.
So it's anecdotes and opinion pieces, but it's coming out in, Katie will tell you she'll tell you it's CENA when it's book o'clock. I thought it was very easy writing a book, and then I went in a bookshop and I saw how many other people had written them and better.
Full of them.
Then I panicked. But as long as you're learning, you're good enough.
And are you allowed to tell them what the name of the book
Off
is?
the charts.
Oh, off the charts.
I wanted to call it Sister Flow 2.0. That's what I wanted.
Sister Flow 2.0. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Florence Nightingale.
Florence Nightingale.
Yeah, but everybody took a few seconds to get there, like yourself, and you're quite intelligent.
I'm all right.
Yeah. So we couldn't call it that. And then the gloves are off. I wanted to that one.
So I know the gloves were back on today, weren't they?
And off the charts.
Yeah, that's great. And then you've got some online stuff that comes up as well to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, there's a podcast called The Swab, which she's on. She's episode 3.
Yeah.
This is how we met.
This is.
We fell in love instantly.
We did.
Now we're bezies.
It was faked. It was until I nearly killed
It was actually,
her.
I was a comedian at a CENA conference in Melbourne, and you were there.
I was.
And you were my carer all night.
So my mate Brooke messaged me and said, my friend Georgie is going to be at the dinner. Can you please look after her? And I was like, oh yeah, how hard could this job be?
It's quite hard.
Like, the girl can dance.
Yeah, I like dancing.
Yeah.
I like a room full of ladies partying.
It was
90%
You
ladies.
got the dance floor going.
Yeah.
But on that, thank you. CENA is back on this year, so it's going to be a bit of a mixed format situation. It will be held in Sydney this year. It was meant to be on the Gold Coast last year, but due to COVID, I had to cancel, which was a rough decision. That's okay, we'll get it back. But Sydney this year, it is going to be amazing. We're going to have some great speakers, some good entertainment.
Ginger balls.
So you could bring ginger balls.
You don't have to bring a thing, they just look after you.
Well, no, yeah, it's cake.
I only went to the party bit, granted I didn't do any of the learning, but I had a ball.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it is fun. It is definitely fun. Georgie, thank you so much. I know you have a very busy schedule at the moment, and I really appreciate you putting in the time to educate emergency nurses and nurses over the world about tea room etiquette and how to ginger your balls. Thank you.